This is the Home Service Growth Podcast with your host, Joas Meier, a show for driven men building home service businesses who want more than just revenue. Here, we break down the mindset, systems, and standards required to build a profitable business, lead with integrity, and create real freedom, not just in your work, but at home and in life.
Welcome to the Home Service Growth Podcast, and I'm excited today to talk about one super important topic among the hundreds of things I'm sure as a business owner. Running a trades business is tough. It takes time. It takes time to grow. It takes time to build trust. It takes time to build the brand. There's so many things going on, and I just want to touch on one small thing that can be done very easily, but it's not always easy to do. Meaning, you have to be honest and self-reflective, ask the hard questions. And that would have to do with the fact that we currently, as business owners, have instant feedback available to us if we're willing to listen and be honest about the critique we might get back. We constantly have people and circumstances put into our lives every day that can teach us so many things. But are we willing to listen, to be thoughtful enough to ask the right questions, to not be mad when you hear something you didn't like, but to take the criticism for what it is, simply just feedback for you to learn? So there's two stories that relate back to this in my experience and journey so far, which is in time I was able to see what those circumstances were and those lessons, because it was most of the time the tough, hard, difficult things that we think are a failure, that we think were a negative experience that we don't want to ever talk about or bring up. Those are actually the ones that we hide from are the ones that teach us the most. They can be the most valuable thing in our life. And so I want you to hear this. One, you will fail, but failure, if reframed, is simply just a lesson. It's not a failure. And within that, there's people and circumstances that can teach you something. So for instance, we had it once with a client that was very difficult, but it surprised me because, one, when I did the initial assessment and quote, they were great. We walked through the project in detail like I had done before. I'd written up the quote and it was accepted. We started the work, but as soon as we started the work, things started coming up. And it wasn't things that were necessarily of too much importance in the instance of some people just like nitpicking at things, but it's usually a reflection of things going on in their life that they now choose you, the tradesperson in their home, to now start nitpicking. But don't always take it personally, because usually it is a reflection of what is going on. They say that one of the most stressful things in life are actually renovations. So being in somebody's home, for instance, when you are the renovator, whatever that trade may be to you, you have to keep in mind that these can be stressful times. It literally keeps people up, especially women, up overnight because of this decision that needs to be made, because this is their home, this is their safe place, this is where they bring their family, they host people. This is everything to them. And if you can understand that, it'll help moving forward. So in this scenario, we were doing some cabinets for them and refinishing some cabinets among the big reno they had done throughout the house. And all of a sudden, she calls me saying, I was expecting the insides of the cabinets to be painted. Now, that might seem like a very simple, small detail or something that, would have been clear. And when I looked back on when I quoted them and when I actually walked through the process with them, I specifically always made clear, because I never wanted to run into this issue, that we never touch the insides, because insides just don't hold up to the paints and the products that we use, so we stay away from it. Now, even though I knew that, and maybe in my mind I was thinking at the time, oh, well, I'm right, she's wrong, I realized a few things where I was 100% at fault. One, there could have been maybe more clarity on my end as to laying it out, not only during the quote, but then when we started. Two, actually putting the quote in writing, but being more detailed because I had specified with the wrong verbiage in my quote that then held me account to what she was saying, which was she was kind of actually right because I didn't fully clarify it in the quote she had signed off on. Meaning, again, I was at fault, even though we've never done it in the past and never did it after. This was that one time where I kind of felt as if I was caught with my pants down because now I was in a situation where I realized, well, I kind of have to do what she says. One, I know I won't get paid for the final project, so I have to bite the bullet. Two, I can't really fight this because in a way I had to put my ego and anger aside in the moment because it was going to cost me a lot of time and money to get it done. I realized that, well, if I'm taking 100% ownership, which is super hard to do when you're right in the middle of it, it's easier to reflect on it in the future. I then had to essentially get everything done that she wanted with no additional costs, and it ate into obviously the cost of the project and the extra time and labor, material, and all that. But coming out of it, the lesson I learned saved me a lot of money because I was able to at least put myself aside and look at the actual facts of the matter, which was I wasn't clear when I did an in-person walkthrough before starting the project. I didn't emphasize and clear it up enough in my wording in my quote. And then when communicating with them, I think I probably was pretty standoffish and annoyed and pissed off because it was something I didn't want to do and we never did. And now I realize that there was little key things that she had dropped along the whole process, which was the idea of the stress of we want this reno to be over with because we were coming in as one of the last trades among the flooring, the trim work, the other painting, and all this other stuff that was going on. We were the final thing, and it's a stress load that had built up in the house where we're now, when we walked into it, we were inevitably going to be kind of nitpicked or pointed out or just almost feeling attacked simply because they were just reacting from just the stress of everything going on, and well, they took it out on us. So that was a part of it as well, is to understand the circumstances you're walking into. So that was just one instance where there were so many lessons to be learned, but I only learned those lessons because I actually went back, walk through what happened, how we ended up there, and most importantly, I had to remove my ego that liked jumping in the way and saying, well, no, they were all wrong. I did everything perfect. And the reality is, if you had done everything perfect, there wouldn't have been issues. So obviously you missed something. And that is the hardest thing as business owners, is to actually take account, because taking account for your mess ups, the things that you got wrong, is actually what differentiates us. The best clients are sometimes the ones where a job goes completely sideways or a screw up happens, but you're able to actually go in and fix the problem, deal with it, and communicate with them through it, showing the integrity of you, the business owner. And once it's all said and done, when they understand who your true character is in that moment, in that screw up happening, they actually trust you more, because now you've gone through a challenge together as the employee-employer relationship, or a client and a home service provider. And so in those moments, you're actually creating more of a bond and a trust, even though it's through a poor situation sometimes that can suck. And nobody likes when screw-ups happen that can cost you thousands, and depending on your industry, tens of thousands of dollars. I've had screw-ups where it cost me $5,000 within 2 seconds just because of something that was overlooked. There's things that are going to happen. But are you able to sit and reflect? Understand that the people and the circumstances in your life on a daily basis are there to teach you lessons, to help you grow, that's when the magic, the beauty comes out, because now we can take that, change the system or the structure or the people or the communication, whatever it may be that failed at the beginning, and take that as the failure, but not realizing it's a failure, it's a lesson, and then implementing the change that will actually help create a better, smoother business, less friction, less headache. And I'm sure as business owners, we want less headache, because who wants to deal with this stuff? So just take the time this week to sit down, maybe think of, the top 1, 2, 3 poor client experiences you've had, and look back and say, okay, with an honest lens, what did I do wrong? Because we can easily blame everybody else, but what did I do wrong? And you might actually see, oh, I missed this, or I screwed up here. The other side, you can go and reach out to the top 10, 20 clients that you've had in the past and say, hey, why did you go with us? And give them maybe a survey, or send them a gift card for Starbucks, or get some feedback in a way where you're not just assuming, but you're actually giving them the option to give you more clarity, because doing so will also help you understand what you have been doing right and why they chose you. Now that can go into how you address your marketing moving forward, because your offer has to change, because you thought people were coming to you for this reason, and now you're getting all this positive feedback, but it's showing you that you have to change things up. So there's the good and the bad that comes with it. The bad experiences are really just lessons. The good experiences are just lessons. So at the end of the day, life is just simply lessons from people and circumstances that we're in.